I I blame it on my dyslexia, um, but it's really more than that. And this is, like I said, the 13th time I've read the Bible, and I get to after chapter 13 where Elijah dies, and then it keeps going on talking about these different kings of Israel, Judah, and Syria. Okay, and it starts off every chapter that they failed God and they fell away from God and they were evil in the eyes of God, and my brain just shuts off, right? And but there's one king, Josiah. Now I picked up on that because I'm okay. One of the pastors from Center Church, Juan Salinas, his youngest son is Josiah, so I recognize the name, and that guy did right in the eyes of God, and but he dies in a battle against Egypt, against the king of Egypt, slays him, right? And I don't know, that kind of distracted my mind, right? But what he did is he sent out servants to do an audit of the house of God. And he's looking, how much money they're bringing in and all this kind of stuff. That's the purpose of the audit. And one of them brings back a book of God's law and the covenant. And he'd never seen it before. And he reads the book and he's like, feels, oh my God, we've done all these things against God. So he goes and he tries to make everything right. He slays the prophets of Baal. He destroys all their idols, the wooden idols, and all their sanctuaries, all the pagan gods. He does all this, and then he goes up against Egypt, or Egypt attacks him, and the king of Egypt slays him. And then after that, Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, and you read about him more in Daniel, comes and conquers Judah. Okay, and all of Israel. And so I had to so I read it, right? And my brain stopped after chapter 13. And when Elijah dies. And then I just grabbed a little bit of Josiah, knowing that he did good in God's eyes, right? But then he died, which is like, okay, God's got his purpose for everything, right? Okay, so now I'm First Chronicles, and I'm sure a lot of stuff's going to get repeated, but it's God's word. They call it the living word. Like every time you pick it up, it's like a different story, right? And the way I learn, I'm auditory kinesthetic, and many times I have to teach myself. I have to tell it. In fact, I became a much better boxer when I started teaching boxing, teaching the basics to Navy pilots and their crewmen. And then I went to the gym every night and trained with Roy Jones Sr. and Roy Jones Jr. On more advanced techniques. Okay. And so it's that's happened a lot. A lot of times teachers are the ones that learn the most. Okay. I listened to Jason Cisneros last night. He had his little rant about the Misfit Nation and the Bald Avenger program, and then he was on this morning, and a lot of stuff he talks about, like forging on, and despite people's criticism and rejection, and that's real powerful to me. There's and being yourself. When people, when nobody's perfect, okay. But being your true self is, if people don't want to be with the real you, then that's okay. You just find the ones that are, and you got to be strong enough to go through that, or if you can't get away from them, stand up to them, right? And they ain't gonna like it. And they never do. Never happens, right? There's a certain pecking order, and people will see you in a certain point in that pecking order, and when you don't conform, they don't like it. And it takes a lot to stand up to that. Okay, you got to really prove yourself a lot. And you got to establish your ranking in the pecking order. And so if you choose where you want to be in that line, you got to earn it. You have to prove yourself. You have to perform. You have to make it happen, right? And I'll give you a little trick. You thank those people who let you get in front of them. What I mean by that, those people that have status, or those people that have, they're more established than you, they have more money than you, they have more respect than you, but they see something in you that they respect, and they let you know that they respect that about you. You go right back to them and you give it to them. You tell them you thank you. Okay, this is something really cool. When you're trying to do something new, right? And you have you know you don't know everything, but you know the guy that does, and you bring them to your contact, your person, right? And you build up that person, that you're bringing, the one that has all the answers, okay? And if they're smart, and then they build you up to the person, they hold you up and show respect to you, to the person that you're in front of. It builds everybody up. Okay. What we're always looking for are answers. Okay. And we challenge or judge everything based on our past experiences. That's our subconscious mind, right? So we're going to hear something, read something, do something, experience something, and we're going to weigh it against everything we've ever done, seen, heard, or experienced before in our life. And it's got to fit. When it does, pow, epiphany's happening. You start coming to new understanding, and you'll hold on to it. Okay, it's like Josiah. Josiah became a king of Judah at a very young age, right? And he had learned reverence to God from his father earlier on, and then so when he gets this book of the law and the covenant, it has impact with him, and he takes action right now. Okay, and that is a huge difference. Like there's so many things, in the chemical business. I go into these warehouses and talk to these people, and I keep a good attitude. I keep a smile on my face, right? And I keep coming back, and they give me a shot, and they get a case of chemical, just a token, you know, uh, purchase from me, and then they use the chemical. And the chemical works awesome, right? It's high in alkaline. It's this chiseling effect, which means it burrows down and it'll pull up this forklift tire marks, right? And and they notice the difference right away, okay? And the chemical does the rest of it, right? I joke around that I wish could say I was a great salesman, but the chemical does the work, right? I see other situations where, it's the financial services, right? People know they need to save. They know they need to do better, right? But when I start talking about what I've done, and I had to go with Pacific Life because I had a melanoma removed off my neck. I work out all the time. I'm in great shape. I'd be, preferred elite with other companies, but with Transamerica, because they don't want to take risk. They have a great program. They have great pricing for their product, right? But they don't take undue risk. That's why they're doing the wealth and health community promotion, because they want to go after those ones who are in good shape and have, they won't be rated, or if they are, have a high rating, preferred elite or preferred plus or whatever, right? And so they want people that are at the lower risk end. Okay, well, because I had my melanoma in 2015, even though it's gone, I get checked by the VA all the time. All right, it's been long enough. I'm still going to get rated because of that. So it's better for me to go with Pacific Life or Nationwide. And I was like trying to figure out which one am I going to go with. Well, Bernadette Kim, the CEO here in Edinburgh, she pointed out to me that Pacific Life makes better sense because they one, they wouldn't rate me, and two is she can do a blended policy, which keeps it a permanent policy. So she's blending term and an IUL, all right? And because of the IUL, it's not a temporary policy. It shouldn't even be called term, okay? It's a blended policy, but it'll go on, it'll be a permanent policy, building a cash value, and then with that, I can get the rider for long-term care, which will serve me later on. 70% of the population is going to need long-term care. The average cost for long-term care is $6,000 to $8,000 a month, and the average time that people are going to spend in a long-term care facility is 270 days, which is about 8 months. That's expensive, and you can get a standalone policy for long-term care, right? But it's not going to have, if you don't go into a long-term care facility, that money's just wasted. Where if you have it as a rider with life insurance, it will, you can leave it. It'll go to your heirs. You can use it to live on retirement. All these things. So that's why I have Pacific Life, and so that's when her knowledge helps me edify her, helps people understand why what we do is awesome, because we're not captive, and we can do whatever's the best for people. So making my point that the edification goes up and down. All right, it goes. So I can tell her. I can talk about how awesome she is, and when they're looking at her, wow, whatever she says has got to be gospel. And then she turns around and says that I'm doing a great job and doing, then they're like, wow, this guy, better listen to him. Okay, and that's the the fast track of getting credibility. Okay. And then of course you got to perform. You got to do good things for people. And a lot of times what we do, what I do is help people that, they're spending everything they're making, and I just help them get a budget or a strategy, and I don't make money right away. All right. But they know that even if I didn't make any money, I took the time to help them. And that's valuable. All right. Have a great day.